worst job? Watching the Phillies as a beat reporter right now, or having to clip 30 seconds of JJ Arcega-Whiteside and putting it on your social media?
Listen, I cannot believe the Seahawks did that. That is absolutely worthy of criticism. To answer your question, I think being the Seahawks social media person right now is probably one of the worst jobs in sports, I have to imagine. I mean, look at this. I think he had, 16 catches in his career with the Eagles?
So I wrote this in this. So this is funny. If you don't mind, Dave, can we go back to the first catch and we'll break it down? And I'm going to take Bob down memory lane. Okay. So the first catch, Steelers, October 11th, 2020. This one was hauled in for 37 yards from Carson Wentz, but really we only remember this game because Chase Claypool burned the shit out of Nate Gary on the game-winning touchdown in Jay Jaw's catch. Catch number 2, Seahawks, 11/24, 2019. Guess how many targets J.J. Arcega-Whiteside had during this game?
If I remember correctly, like everybody on the Eagles was hurt during this game.
I believe so.
There were a ton of injuries. I'm going to say, because we're criticizing him, that he probably had like 8 targets.
He had 5 targets. That's still too many targets. 5 targets. And this one was a 30-yarder from Wentz that led to a Zach Ertz touchdown. This was one of the 17-9 games. They had 2 against the Seahawks that year. Carson Wentz, you'll love this. 45 attempts, 256 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. What a fucking stat line from the Ginger.
Oh, man. So story here, my first year covering the Phillies, one of the first games I was down at the stadium, and it was the year the Eagles drafted JJ Arcega-Whiteside. And so I was doing a lot of like general blogging for the site too. And I'm in the press box when they draft him, and everyone's like, oh, big target out of Stanford. Yeah. Big body. He's going to replace
great catch radius.
Stanford, right? Like big catch radius, physical target. And I remember kind of writing like, it presumably is a good move without Alshon Jeffrey slowing down, showing signs of aging. He was like 28 at the time, but he couldn't run anymore. So I was like, this makes a ton of sense. That may be, for my money, the worst, the worst Eagles draft pick of the last 15 years.
Oh man, Danny Watkins was really bad.
Yeah, I know, and I know he's a first rounder, but I think that at least with Danny Watkins, everyone just understood, wow, he could not play, rather than do this like 3+ year dance with a receiver that is best known for his blocking skills on the perimeter.
Marcus Smart was really, was it Marcus Smith?
Marcus Smith, yeah, Louisville.
Like he was what, a 3rd round projected
everyone
pick?
In the NFL had him as a 3rd or 4th round pick. Eagles grabbed him at what, in the late first?
Late first, yeah. I think they traded back in or something, or they traded back. It was wild.
Yeah.
Dave, bring up the video again, and let's cue it over to catch number 3, Dallas, December 22nd, 2019. This game, most memorable for the Eagles. They had 3 17-9 games this year, 2 against the Seahawks, 1 against Dallas. This is the only one they won. J.J. had 2 catches. This one was a 27-yard pitch and catch from Wentz on the first play of the game. And then guess what, Bob? He followed it up with a 12-yard catch on the same drive. And then was he targeted the rest of the game?
No. Anytime you can go into a critical late season battle against the Cowboys, your offensive game plan has to start and stop with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
It really is. It really is. Catch number 4, Washington, January 3rd, 2020. The Doug Peterson fuck you game to the Giants where they tanked. J-Jaw played 40% of snaps. 40% of snaps on the offense. That's when I know it was fun watching the Giants in real time be like, oh my God, they're screwing us. But you could have just seen J-Jaw on the field and been like, oh, okay, they're screwing us.
You know what's amazing about this? There are dozens and dozens of transactions made during training camps around the NFL every day, especially as you get later into camp. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside's probably not going to make the Seahawks team. So it's just, it makes the fact that they actually dedicated a tweet to his career highlights even more ridiculous. Like, it just makes no sense that they did this.
I saw that he's back playing receiver. now?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, because he can't play tight end, and you know why he can't play tight end? Because he's not a tight end. So
Well, if you looked at, I saw some interviews. I guess this is the first time I've seen JJ Arcega-Whiteside all training camp. If you look at him, he still looks as big as he does in 2019 and 2020. If you're going to be a tight end, man, you're blocking defensive ends. You're blocking big dudes. You're chip blocking. Like,
is there any possibility? Because you know how Philly fans always do this. They're like, well, now that he's gone, he'll probably be good. Is there any possibility that he goes out there and sort of reinvents himself and becomes I wouldn't use the word good, but like useful player?
serviceable?
No, I'm going to say no. Like I'm a
No.
hard no, like minus 2,000 to win 100 no, but just throwing it out there.
I think if Russell Wilson was still there and his ability to make journeyman wide receiver, kind of like Aaron Rodgers, better, I think that's when I'd be scared. But you got to, at the end of the day, he's getting thrown to by Drew Lock or Geno Smith.
Over under JJ Arcega-Whiteside catches for the remainder of his career, 8.5.
I go under. I was gonna set the line at 5.5, so I'll definitely go under. Where we at? We're at catch number 5, New Orleans, November 21st, 2021. The Eagles, this is where they ran the ball down the Saints' throats to the tune of 242 yards. This was the Jalen Hurts juke game. I don't even know. Yeah, I mean, he had one reception for 23 yards. Catch number 6. This is my favorite. This is a preseason game, Bob. They put a preseason highlight in the highlight package.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can see it because I don't remember any primetime Jets games in the regular season over the last few years.
The only one I remember is from last year. This was the Jets game where that guy threw a James Morgan from the Jets threw a Hail Mary, and they just called the game and tied 31-31. He led the team with 57 yards this day, J. Jaw. And then this one's a trip down memory lane. This is when I almost relinquished my Eagles fanhood. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside's first touchdown ever against the Miami Dolphins. I'm sure you remember this game. They started out 0-7. I think this was the year that the owner wanted to literally pay Brian Flores $100,000 for every loss that he had. They're coming in at 2-8. The Eagles are 5-6, losing the last 2 against the Patriots and the Seahawks. J.J. Arcega catches a touchdown. We lose by almost 10 points to the. I remember because so many Eagles fans went down to Miami to go to this game, and I was like, "This is going to be utter domination, hammer the line." Dave checking in from behind the scenes. He had Miami touchdown that won him $350 for J.
I would be curious to know what Dave bet on to get that. Did you bet on JJ? Okay, parlay, including a JJ Arcega-Whiteside touchdown. You know what I remember about that game? Yeah, Miami was terrible. The Eagles actually came out hot, and it was like one of those games where you're like, hey, they're going to win by 30 points. Yeah. How are they going to get their yardage? Who's going to score today? You know those games as a fan where you're just like, man, I really like to see my guy get one today. Yeah. It felt like it was just how are they going to distribute the points? They ended up losing that game 37-31. Totally ridiculous loss late. Totally collapsed.